So we are in Spirit of the Law. We're up to chapter 1, Perek Aleph in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Sif Hey, the fifth Sif. So if you can get up at Chatzos, in the middle of the night, you can make some kind of rectification of Chatzos. Great. Matov, how nice, right? That's a wonderful thing. As it says in the verse, get up and sing in the night, beginning of the various watches of the night. Just like Hashem, as it were, keens at that time, he mourns at that time. And he says, woe to the children who have been sent away, who've been the base of Midrash, we don't have a temple anymore. Yeah. So this segment of the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch to a breastiver is maybe one of the most important. That's like really amazing, even though we try to keep every bit of the Shulchan Aruch and we do everything we can. But to try to get up and to really connect to Hashem is something, it's the biggest gift. It's the biggest gift. You know, someone who's done it doesn't need anyone to explain it. It's a special, it's like such a special time, special, wonderful thing. The deeper works the Chaim brings from Yaakov Emden, I think, and several other sources, that every hour at night is like several hours during the day. This doesn't mean, of course, that if you want to, you're a little behind in your daf yomi, you try to do a page a day, right? So it takes you an hour a page. So all you do is show up 1 hour at night, and you'll end up doing 5 pages. That's not always how it works. It means that the connection you get from the Torah, the ability to really understand and to bring it in to yourself, to your deepest parts of yourself, the deepest depths of my heart, is much, much higher. It's like a special. It's like you're in a state, a totally different state of being. You don't have to explain this to anyone who's done this. People who have done this, they know that the time is so sweet, it's so wonderful. There's just no words. Like the Kabbalah writes and Nesahamah writes, all these different, many places we have this idea of like this time as being something above time, very special. There are a lot of reasons why that's so. Hashem is with Vatikin and Gan Eden, whatever these things mean. There are all these different beautiful, wondrous ideas, which maybe one day we'll discuss, the little we understand about them. But the real bottom line is, the person has to try it and see. It doesn't mean you have to be falling off your face. That's not necessarily the smartest thing either. There were many breastives. You have to be careful, especially if someone who's is about tshuva. He's freshly involved in things and he wants to stay up at night. And some people, they sacrifice their whole day. They spend 2 hours a night, or whatever it is, let's say the minimum amount of chatzot time, let's say that they want to be, and then the rest of the day is totally destroyed. They don't do anything, don't learn, don't daven, don't do anything at all. So that's obviously not the optimal way to act. That's not a worthwhile sacrifice. It's not worth it. The best way to go is for a person to say, I'm gonna do my best to get up when I can. Rav Micha, there was someone who had headaches. His mother came and she said, my son has such migraines, I'm afraid for his life. And Rav Micha said, okay, so you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, that'll be your chatzot. Sleep a little longer, however long. So that's what one has to know themselves. And the Kitzur says the same basic idea. And he says, if not, so you get up a little later. Anyway, there's very, very much wondrous Torah about this. The Mikor Chaim brings, it's a way of kind of enacting Tchiyat HaMeitim, and you kind of wake up. You wake up from that deep sleep, which is 1/60th of death. You're sort of like revived. You're revived. You're kind of living Tchiyat HaMeitim. That's one beautiful idea. There's many breaths of this. You break the dinim, the judgments, and the harshness and the hardship, and you break through and you find that beautiful time. There's a lot of discussion about this. If we were to sit on this, we would just sit a very long time on it. So we'll just continue. So he said, if you can't get up Chatzos, so try at least to get up before the morning. Before the morning gets up, right? Before the eye will awaken the dawn. King David says, the dawn won't wake me up. You can do the tikkun. You can do the tikkun Chatzos even after Chatzos. The tikkun Chatzos, someone who really cares. When I really care that the divine presence is in exile, and that things are not really in place. We're missing the temple. It's not just a place. It's uplifting the whole world. Our sages say if the nations of the world had understood what they got physically from having a temple in the world, they would have put guards around it to make sure no one touched this incredible place. So it's just like, it's pretty amazing, pretty astounding how much we got just in the physical world. Is that we say in Rav Micha, "Ve'al mizbechecha," right? We mentioned the altar in the prayer we say over the 7 species. Wheat, pomegranates or grapes, different things that the land of Israel is especially praised with. We don't mention even in the Birkas Hamazon, even in the long prayer that we say for after bread. We don't mention the Mizbeach. We don't mention the altar there. So it's very interesting. They bring down that the reason why is because when we lost the temple, the taste, or the taste of fruits, of food, just sort of was diminished, especially in the fruits. So therefore, when we're talking about things that are these 7 species, especially, they lost a lot of their, even physically, they don't taste as good. The taste isn't the same. The smell, everything changed. The world was lowered again. When you're in the gutter, you don't feel it. There's a story with there was 2 guys working in the sewer. They were digging a tunnel, and they're digging and it's time for lunch. So they just sort of like sit down, plunk down in the middle of, they're in the sewage, they're trying to dig a place so that it will be able to remove it, I guess, or whatever it was. Terrible, terrible stench. And they're just like eating their lunch. When you're in the sewer, you don't really feel it. You don't feel, you think everything's okay, but it's not okay. It's really not so good. It's not a good quality of living. People think they have quality of living. They don't understand what quality of living means. Yeah, you could still say the tikkun, and the tikkun, again, it's very, very powerful. Rav Nassan spoke also about somebody, this guy who, anything he said, he gave someone a blessing, it happened. And no one understood, what's with this person? He's got such a power. Where did he get this from? So Rav Nassan spoke with him. He said, what do you do? He started telling him, I do this, I do that, regular Jewish things, good things. He's like, nah, it's not that. Finally, I said, I get up in the night and I say this special, prayer, tikkun Chatzos. That's what I say. Rav Nassan says, that's why. Sits and cries that God's missing the world. That gives you something unbelievable. We don't begin to understand where you're going to. So then you should learn Torah, every person according to his ability. First thing a person should learn is Mishnayos.
Chatzos is different all over the globe.
Mm-hmm.
So you technically could have people doing this all the time.
It's true, but the place where you are is also very important. The Baal Tanya talks about this fact. He says that the time, according to where you are, that's how you elevate the time. I mean, there were breasts of Chassidim who said if you missed Chatzos, you could say it by day also and just yearn. You want to be zoche, you want to, like you said, somewhere at Chatzos, you try to get something you can. But it's a little bit tricky. It's not the proper time. The easiest way to access the time is the time in where we are. And there's also dispute when exactly is Chatzos. Rav Nachman says it's 6 hours after the nightfall. Others say it's exactly in the middle of the night. Whichever way one does, those are 2 basic opinions. And this is the time, I'll tell you, to access the or. Like I said, there's a special or, a special illumination of Chatzos. You're not going to get it if you don't have the time. That's usually the way it works. Sometimes you can. There are certain things, when you learn these certain Chassidut for many people, or the Arizal, different things one learns, that just catapult us in a different realm totally, and then you're also in a certain place like Chatzos. It's like something which you can't begin to understand. One of the ways you know that you got there is it's harder to forget. It's easy to think of it. Just grips you completely. You're like, wow, that's incredible. That's already, you got somewhere good, and you're somewhere positive. So the first thing to learn at night is Mishnayos. The first thing is Mishnah. That way, he says a person gets Neshama, because Mishnah has the same letters as Neshama. If you can't, so say Tehillim, and different other prayers, and learn ethical works. Okay. Now, Mishnayos also, Torah in general has the power to really uplift a person and totally change him. It just takes time. We have to be patient with it. There's a story with Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, he went to learn, and it didn't work so well. The Risos Lanta points out, it says that Rabbi Akiva returned to learn. It could be how to refresh his olive base, but at a certain point, at least that's the way it seems, on a simple level, but at a certain point, he did try to learn, and he gave it up. And Risos Lanta explains, he says, Rabbi Akiva, the famous story with the rock, he passed this rock, he saw the stone, the water dripping into the stone, and it had bored a hole through the stone. The Torah can also make an impression on me. So Risos Lanta said when he went to learn, he checked himself very carefully. And he said, I don't see it making any impression. He says, so this is not, I don't know, either I'm not doing it right or I can't do it right. Whatever it is, it's not for me because I see it's not helping. So when he saw that rock, he understood that just because you don't see the effect doesn't mean it doesn't have a very profound effect. You have to just keep on working at it, and that's why he started again. And that's the same thing we have to know. Torah has this incredible power to just transform a person completely if we want to be transformed by it. If you don't want to be transformed by it, no one can. You have free will. We all have free will. If we want to stay with who we are with the Torah, we can do that too. It's our choice. That lowers very much the Torah. It disables our ability to feel the real spiritual content of the Torah. It's very, very hard when you want to, you have an agenda or something very, very, very lacking in that kind of Torah. But nevertheless, Torah, if you just let it in and allow it to pick you up, to uplift you, so it has a tremendous, tremendous power to really change everything. So the Nefesh HaChaim says, picture it like you're climbing steps. He said, you learn Torah, even you're not without any ulterior motive. You have a little bit you want, maybe a little honor, you want a little this, I don't know what, you want this, you want that. But he says it's like you're trying to climb to the steps to a building. He said you need to get to the roof. That's the Shem Shemaim. That's for Hashem. So you take it step by step. That's what the Ruach Chaim says. And he says, and also throughout the day, there's going to be some lishma. It's going to be some like Hashem in there. It's going to you learn. The more you learn, the more you can find at least drops here and there that are going to be for Hashem. And slowly but surely you'll actually learn for Hashem. The Chovos Talmidim says something also interesting about mitoch shelo lishma b'al lishma, a similar but different. He said, you take a guy, a peasant, right? He's got to take this guy to his field and cut the field 8 hours of backbreaking labor per day to get done with the harvest. He's going to manage it. Take him in an inn or some closed space without any sheaves to deal with. Give him his scythe and say, I want you to swing this. Every hour you swing it, I'll give you, I don't know, some money, not incredible, not $1 million, no, a few pennies, like worth it for him, but not a big price. He said he's not going to manage more than half hour, and he just can't do it anymore. He says the same thing. He said when you have something where you know that there's a spiritual content, you're going to push yourself in a way that it's not worth it for the, you have vested interest, but it's not really worthwhile. If you work on other things, maybe you work on perfecting your guitar, you'll get more honor than perfecting your toasters, probably. So you're not working on guitar, you're working on toasters, you probably, you have a lishma interest there. That's another element, another facet. So we have to know Mishnah. That's we have to learn. Torah is a very powerful, especially this time. It's like several hours. Very, very strong way to learn. Strong time to learn. Okay, so now he says it's good a little bit with kavanah. It's better a little bit with kavanah than a lot without kavanah. Okay, so that's a very, very important concept. I have a question. This is a hard question. Take two people. One is the biggest tzaddik in the world, and he learned in an hour, 10 daf Gemara, I don't know however much he learned, 10 daf, where he did his unbelievable davening according to his level. Another person, he did 1 daf, or he davened, he prayed according to his level. Who is superior to Hashem? So, the sources say neither. Neither is superior. They're both the same, because they both did the best. If you really did your best, then they're both the same, exact same thing. So all we have to do is our best. I don't have to do more than that. I don't have to, I think that I do big things. I'll do this incredible, I'll make this edifice for Hashem. That's worthwhile. If not, what's it worth? So nothing said, there's no arrogance greater than that. Say, if it's not like the big league, it's not worth it. What do you mean? You're just serving Hashem according to your ability, and you can't do it perfectly. Nobody can. It's impossible to do it perfectly. So you just have to do your best. That's it. So again, when you do a little bit with kavanah, that's better than a lot without kavanah. It's better to do a little with focus than a lot without focus. Because the moment a person you know, the kavana, the direction, the focus we do imbues what we do with a completion. It imbues it with it's like a soul. It says that if you do something without kavana, it's like a body without a soul. It's missing the main part of it, the main element, the main thing is the kavana. So it's too bad, even though it's eternal and it's connection, but there's something very, very essential missing. So I have to do my best to put as much kavana as I can, and not to worry so much about how much I'm going, how much am I doing, how much. Now, of course, there is another side of things. You have the person who says, that's all very nice, but unfortunately, I don't know how much kavanah I can really put in now, and what am I supposed to do? Can't put too much kavanah in, so what can I do? So I'll wait until I have kavanah. So the Rebbe said no. He said we have to have a lot of appreciation for Gedaliah Blidit. He said, tell him even cold. Just do it. Do it even cold. Whatever you have a heart, you just say. It's also very, very important that we have to know that if you do, you're also acting, you're moving, you're going somewhere, you're going where you need to go. Well, if you don't do anything, you're not doing anything, you're not really achieving. It's very easy to suddenly, as it were, wait until you have kavanah, and meanwhile you're doing all sorts of other things. You're not moving towards kavanah at all. The person's not moving towards direction. He's not doing anything. He's just sort of loafing. I don't know. So that's also not a positive thing. You have to know yourself. Some people, at the end of the day, you see a guy. He goes to daven, he starts to cry, and he's really connected, and it's day after day. You're like, well, hey. Maybe he's taking a few hours to prepare. He's learning, he's talking, he's doing whatever he's doing, but he's davening. He's like, hey, this is davening. But if you have a guy who's the same 5 minutes, he just eats 5 minutes before the shkia instead of 5 minutes before Chatzos or 5 minutes before this month tefillah, it's like, listen, if you're going to do a 5-minute davening or a 10-minute or 15-minute quickie, you may as well do it early. At least let it be, let it be whatever way you can. Do it as best you can. So you have to know yourself. We have to know ourselves. We have to know what we're able to do, and that's Rav Micha says, just do what you can. Very, very into this idea of do what you can, no matter what. So that's the idea of Yaakov dividing up the camps and saying, if this one won't make it, this one won't make it, I'm going to fight. Rashi says, I'm going to fight. So Rav Micha says you have to just do what you can. Don't give up. The Yitzhak wants you to give up. Don't give up. Say, okay, you know what? I'll do this. I can't. My davening wasn't the greatest. Okay, go to minyan as well as I do what I can, and then I'll learn. I'll say Tehillim. I'll have personal prayer. I'll do this. I'll do Mishnah. I'll try to get up in the night. I'll yearn. I'll think a good thought. I'll try to help somebody. I'll do anything I can. That's positive. That's spiritual. That's what. And then he said, you divide things up. You want to do. He said, he writes. You want to do as many pages of Torah. You want to learn a lot. You want to learn intensely. You want to learn with focus. You want to do so much. So and the Maisa, you can't. You're not going to manage it. He says, so do one page. You could do one page. So no, one page I could do one page. So he says, so do that one page. So maybe for the people in his time, one page was a cinch. One page was no big deal. Everyone did one page, not one page. It was like person, what do you mean? Not even one daf. That was normal, except for someone learning with intense depth, a lot of depth. People were learning. They were learning. They could learn. They had skills, they had the ability. Why not? Why not learn? So he said, at least do that one page. Do what you can. Do whatever you can. Help in any way you can. Okay, so he brings Torah. The Rechia says, whoever learns Torah at night, the divine presence is with him. So also, anyone who learns Torah at night, he's called the servant of Hashem, servant of God. So when you have the nights that are shorter, you can't get up so early. At least try to get up. So you'll have time to daven with a minyan the way you should. Have time to do all your preparations. You won't have to show up and be late. Try to be on time. You should be on time if at all possible. Okay, so that's the spirit of the law. Again, there's no end to the. We can talk about Tehillim also the power of Tehillim. What Tehillim is, where Tehillim goes. Tehillim is also tremendous. There's just no words for the. It's like a treasury. It's like an incredible thing. The Tehillim. Where does it go? What does it do? What are these prayers that David HaMelech said? What are they? They're able to just totally nullify all the. We saw last week in the Zohar, really, right? The Tehillim is able to get rid of Yisurim. We'll see a little bit about prayer also this week. Yeah, Tehillim has a power. Tehillim especially has a power. David HaMelech's prayers, it gets rid of all dinim. It's very, very strong. It gets rid of all judgments, gets rid of all difficulties. So that's the power of Tehillim. We have to do our part. The main thing is to wake up. Just to get up. Not to stay down. Just to start and say, you know what? If I didn't get up Chatzos till now, I'm going to get up now. And if I wasn't able to, I'm not able to, I'll try to learn. I'll try to learn with connection. I'm going to do everything I possibly can. Everyone has to know themselves. Sometimes a person gets taken with an idea and he just can never get there. He's like, Chatzos for me? I mean, like, forget it. Like, Chatzos. But there's a story that Gudlevsky likes to tell about this guy who tried to make Chatzos. And he saw it wasn't working for him. He's getting up night after night, trying to get up, not working, trying to go sleep early. They can't sleep, gets up. In short, he basically, a few times a week, he gets up and goes to the bathroom. Maybe he says a few words in his sleep and falls back asleep. He just spends more time in bed. He's not getting anywhere. And he's trying to like limit things and work it out and this and that. So finally, every day his Hisbodedus has a lot to do. I want to get up at night and it was a big deal and I'm just not holding. So it took him 15 years. After that, he just started getting up every night. So you never know. You just yearn. You ask if you can. If you can't, we do our best. We don't. There's no bar. We just have to do our very best. It's up to make a real effort. Be sincere. Be real. Not to be genuine. Say, I'm going to try. Hashem, please help me get up Chatzos. Help me start again. Just tonight, I want to get up. Just one night. Chatzos. That's the Rebbe's way. Hayom Kol Tishmo. You just have one day. Don't put on too much of a burden. One day. And the Vatikin says at least get up once a week. Person get up maybe Thursday night, maybe Motzei Shabbos, maybe find out a little bit, even a few minutes, even a drop. Even Rav Mordechai Rubinstein would say, you get up, you say 1 minute Motilim of Chatzos, one thing and you're done. Go to bed. But you think it's a big, big difference. Those 2 minutes, that half minute is a big difference. There were those who point out, at least if you find yourself up, and now Chatzos is pretty early. How late is Chatzos? 6 hours later, you're going to your nap, right? So where are we? 4:40, let's say, 5 o'clock or something, 5:10-ish kia, whenever you look at what is the tzay, so it's nightfall plus 6 hours. If you're up at 11:10, so do some good things there, whatever you can, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as much as you can. Without no pressure. Pressure is not positive. Doing what we can, just asking Hashem, please help me use this time properly. Great, excellent. Tikkun Chatzos is very strong, but you have to know, again, if you know what's going to talk to you. That's also I know people who, the minute you try to stay with the Chatzos, falls asleep. Says it's not going to help. You have to do what you can without, so you do Tikkun Chatzos. Do whatever you can do. Whatever you can do, whatever talks to you.